Hey, Tim, I got an awesome acronym for you. You ready?
Another one. Bring it on.
Hashtag POWOP, baby. That's right.
Hashtag. I like that.
Hashtag POWOP.
Power.
Put that in the Instagram post. That's it, baby. Or whatever, the LinkedIn post, YouTube. I don't know what all these kids are doing these days. I feel like an old man. No, so what is POWOP, Tim? It's plan our work, work our plan, right? I had a
Oh
great,
man,
great
that's
friend,
good.
Gary Brown, used to say that to me every day. He'd be like, POWOP, baby. And when Gary Brown says something to you, you listen. That's a big old man. So let's POWOP. So Tim, it's a great introduction to the demand signal, and if we talk about our MRO flow, which I'll pull up here while you get
Yeah,
started. If we talk
yeah,
about our
yeah.
MRO flow, that is the introduction to to the MRO process, right? So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
get that
Exactly.
going here and take over here for us and get us
Okay,
going.
that's good though because when I worked at BHP, that was a big push because everybody likes to be reactive and everybody stops the planned work to do the reactive work, but then the planned work becomes reactive work. So it's like, no, no, no. If we got planned work, you work the plan. So that's actually really good. I think that's a big struggle for people to get to there. Okay, so this is the MRO flow that we talked about in a
MRO
previous
flow.
um, blog, podcast, whatever. But this one's going to be about that demand signal. It is critically important because it is what triggers everything. It's the whole reason we have an MRO supply chain. So this is going to be broken into two things when you have your demand signal because it's either planned or it's unplanned. I talk about this a lot in my presentations. Um, and you have to define, only thing you can do is define where do I draw the line to make it planned versus unplanned. And typically we'll just say a number of days. And I'll use a week. If you give me a demand signal, which is a reservation, as you can see here, with less than 7 days to deliver it, I'm calling it unplanned. And that's important. And it's not a finger pointing exercise at all. It's reality. It says if you are 80% unplanned, which means you need these materials either now or within the next 7 days, well, then I'm going to have to stock these things because it's going to be very difficult for me to get these materials to you for when you need them to do the job. Okay, if it's planned, hey, great, I might be able to go, especially in North America where your supply chains are a bit shorter because you've got so many suppliers. Hey, I can if you give me 14 days or a 56-day call horizon, Justin, which you're used to, working a
That's right.
rolling
Absolutely.
56 days. Well, we can buy in brand new parts when you need them, and we keep them in the warehouse. We stock them until it needs to be picked, packed, and delivered. So that planning signal is really important to understand it. That demand signal. So you need to intimately understand it because this slide you're showing here, I'm going to hand over to you. You can talk to because this is a little bit more of the science behind it, but it's reality.
Absolutely. If we look over here to the left side of the chart here, that's our planned
Yep.
work, right? That's the things that we know far, far in advance that we're going to do. We should know
Yep.
that really theoretically 5 years, 10 years in advance, right? As long as we're running preventive maintenance plans and predictive maintenance plans, uh, we ought to know pretty far in advance when we're going to do that. And
Yep.
there's no reason to stock those materials. We should call that out. Put it on an agreement on an annual basis. Have vendors deliver those when we need them,
Yep.
and move on down the road. Now, on the far right side here is our unplanned demand. These are the things
Yep.
that we need to get done before within the lead time of the material master. So,
Yep.
if we're going to continue to keep our revenue and our production goals in line with what we're trying to achieve and what we're telling our investors or our end customers, we're going to have to carry some inventory, and that's why we carry inventory, right? It's to manage that risk. It's one of our guiding principles, right? It's
Yep.
managing that
Risk, exactly.
risk and keeping costs at a minimum. So
Yep.
so when you guys think about planned versus unplanned, think about it in those terms. Think about, what do I know I'm going to do? And I can get all that done. That should be 60% of your spend, right? Like,
Yep.
it should be a big, heavy duty chunk of your spend. You can put that on an agreement, get vendors to help you drive costs down there, and
Yep.
then you need to look at all your failure data and the things that you
Yeah.
can't predict, that you can't preventive maintenance outright. Some things you're going to just run to fail because it doesn't make sense to
Yep.
go and rebuild a
Well,
motor 14 times.
exactly. And what you have here shows you that there's a balance. Not everything is planned and
That's
not
right.
everything is unplanned. So in the middle, you're going to have things that your materials you're consuming that, hey, a lot of it is planned, so I can buy as I need it, but I do need to carry some for the risk of an unplanned outage. But that
That's
understanding is
exactly
like,
right.
hey, 70% of my consumption of this material is planned, but 30% is unplanned. So that 30% is what you need to carry. You don't carry 100%, which is the 70 and the 30, because then now you're just wasting money. But that's part of the evolution.
Absolutely.
Initially, businesses start off on the right side where they're completely reactive, and then as you start saying, hey, we're going to build a maintenance plan and start inspections and condition based monitoring and move yourself to the opposite side, the left side, then you're going to be in the middle with your materials, and that's where we want to teach people to get to. That's you don't stock for everything, but you may need to initially until you understand that. And we saw that in oil and gas doing very well. An oil and gas company was stocking everything, and they realized they had surplus upon surplus inventory because they were so scared not to have the parts. As we showed them, that says no, you only need to carry this 30%, and then inventory is just falling down and having no issues. So it's pure savings right to the bottom line.
That's exactly it. So remember, if we go back to our MRO flow, we plan it, we put it on our reservations, and then next we're going to talk about checking inventory. We're going to do an
Yep.
availability check
Yeah,
and what I like to
exactly.
call eat from the pantry. So here we go. Get ready. It's coming.